Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May the peace and blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala be upon you. It's your sister Aisha Rahman. Welcome back to my channel. So in this series, I'm going to be sharing some experiences and tips about my travels here to Ghana, the things that I've learned. I will talk a little bit about Accra. I'll talk a little bit about Cape Coast. I will talk a little bit about Elmina. And I will briefly talk about Takarati in this series of videos. So if you're interested in my trip, how things went, the things that I learned, the things that I experienced, then stay tuned to this video because it's a whole series, y'all. Hey sis, assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May the peace and blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala be upon you. Welcome back to my channel. So I just got back from Ghana. I think it's been about 2 weeks and people have been telling me, tell me about your trip. How was your trip? I really don't know what to say. Like, my trip was awesome. I try not to overshare and just be like, hey, want to learn about my trip from Ghana? Want to hear all about my trip? So I kind of just wait for people to ask me questions. So in this series, I'm going to be kind of creating videos answering those questions that you guys have had about my trip to Ghana. And if you guys have any questions that I don't touch on, go ahead and leave a comment below. But yeah, pretty much let's just get into the video. So the first thing that people have asked me is, what did you do in Ghana? How much did it cost? What did you take? What did you pack? So this video is going to be a little bit about all of those things, but mostly I'm going to focus on what I took to Ghana. So being an art curator and knowing that I was going to be in Ghana for around 3 to 4 weeks, I overpacked. I am a light packer. I call myself a light packer anyways. I took one backpack. So if you guys follow me on Instagram, I did kind of a reel about the gear that I was taking. So I took a backpack of gear, my camera, my lenses, my drone, my smaller drone, not that one, but my smaller drone. So all of that was in my carry-on because I did not want my gear to get lost or broken. So that was my carry-on. When you, so I flew Turkish Airlines. I decided to go Turkish Airlines instead of, I think it's Delta, because I wanted to go through Turkey. So I've never been to Turkey before. So we spent some time in Turkey as well. The other option through Delta was to go through JFK. So I was like, oh, I can go to New York anytime. About to get these extra passport stamps and your sis is going to Turkey. So that's what I did. So we flew Turkish Airlines. You can have 2 carry-ons and then you can have 2 check-ins. So basically I had 2 carry-ons and 1 check-in, and my husband used my other because he does not know how to pack light. Okay, this is actually gonna kind of be a long story, so you might want to pause this, get some coffee, get some tea, because we had some drama coming back. So I'm going to talk about going, what I took, and coming back, what I took. So remember, I'm an art curator and I did a lot of shopping while I was there, and what I brought back was way more than what I took. Okay, so my carry-on. So I had my gear in my carry-on. If you are creative, if you are a content creator, if you're going to be taking any gear or camera gear, I suggest that you get a really nice backpack or bag that you can take as a carry-on. They are going to want you to put it up above the cabin or under your seat. I kept my stuff under my seat, so it needs to be small enough to go under your seat, because they're going to come down those aisles and be like, oh, you need to put your bag under your seat. They don't want it like sitting like right where your feet are. So they kept telling me put my bag under the seat that's in front of me. So you have to do that. So I had my backpack. I also had another backpack of kind of like in case my luggage got lost. So worst case scenario is what I put in this bag. I had an extra change of underwear, deodorant, toothbrush, floss, some snacks on the airplane. I'm really bad with motion sickness, so some Dramamine, hand wipes, my N95 mask, things that you want on the plane, or that you might want in the airport if you have a layover, or things that you might want if your luggage gets lost. So extra money, my passport, my visa, my yellow fever card, my COVID, proof of my COVID, all that stuff was in that backpack. So yeah, the thing with Turkish Airlines going, they told me I couldn't use my own mask. They provide you with these really thin medical masks, which I don't understand why, because they don't, like, you put it on and there's still like air can get in. They didn't want you to wear a cloth mask. They wanted you to wear these medical masks, and then they would remind you to change it every 4 hours. So my flight from here to Ghana was probably like 28 hours because I went through Turkey. So it was a long layover, but if you would go through JFK, it's shorter by like 8 or 9 hours. So it might have only been like a 20-hour or 17-hour flight. Needless to say, it's still a long flight. And you have to wear your mask the entire flight. So you can take off your mask to eat. So with Turkish Airlines, they are not serving hot meals. They're not serving hot coffee. They're not serving any of that stuff that they normally serve. Everything is closed and contained just for health reasons. So you have to keep your mask on unless you're eating. There was a couple of passengers on the way back that got real belligerent. They didn't want to wear their mask properly. I was like, just kick them off. That's just me. I'm like, you know what you're getting into. You know what the rules. You know what you came, like, don't play. Put your mask on. Quit playing. They didn't want to comply and they didn't get in trouble. But I was like, just kick them off the plane. That's just me. I don't have tolerance for dumb people. So that's, you know, those are the rules when you fly. You got to wear your mask, and you knew that before you got on here. So anyways, so those were my 2 carry-ons that I took on the plane. So I checked in a bag. So I have this really, really tall red luggage. So it's not your traditional, it's a soft luggage. So you have the hard ones and you have the soft ones. It's the soft one, and I think it's like really big. So it's probably comes up to my hip, and I'm 5'3", so it's pretty tall. It's bigger than my husband's big bag, than his big rolling luggage. So in that luggage, and then also the other thing I want to talk about is what to wear on the plane. So what you want to wear on the plane, I would say layers, because you're going to get hot, you're going to get cold. So I'm 45 years old. I be having hot flashes. I be having some issues. I was hot, I was cold. So you want to have on, you know, maybe an extra hijab or a hijab that you can tie in the back, a t-shirt, a long sleeve shirt, then another sweatshirt maybe. I knew that it was going to be snowing and raining in Istanbul, so I actually wore my rain boots on the plane. Kind of regret that. I wore them going and I regretted it, but I didn't wear them coming back, and I wish I had. So I would say you want to wear very comfortable clothes and shoes on the plane. They give you this really light blanket, doesn't really help much. I was still freezing cold, but then there were times where I was melting and I was hot, and then I had my mask on and I couldn't breathe for 28 hours. Like, and then if you're not flying business class, you don't really have great leg room. So on the plane, because of social distancing, on the way there was a space in between my husband and I, and then a space after, you know, my husband, because of the aisle. And then the plane was big, so it had like a row here, and then the aisle, and then a row in the middle. So it was 3 rows. But on the way coming back, they tried to put somebody in between us. I was like, no ma'am, I don't know where he's been. I don't care if everybody had to get a COVID shot to get on this plane. That's not social distancing. He's not sitting with us. So he had to find somewhere else to sit, because I was not playing that. No. So when it comes to social distancing, y'all, I don't play. I do not play. My mother-in-law has had COVID. I know a lot of people think COVID's not real. They think it's a joke. I don't play when it comes to my social distancing. And in fact, people were like, oh, I thought you were so serious about your social distancing. Why are you traveling to Ghana? I did my research. Ghana has way less cases than the US, especially California, because I'm in California. So actually I was safer being in Ghana than I was at home. So I digress. So on my luggage, in my check-in. So in my check-in, a lot of sisters are asking me, so it depends on the time of the year that you're gonna be there. So you have the dry season and you have the wet season. So I went to Ghana in mid-January and I came back early February because I wanted to be there for a little bit of Black History Month, just to start my year off there. And during that month was just amazing. Like, it wasn't something that I did consciously, but I did want to be there during the dry month, but kind of towards the wet. But I want to see exactly how hot Ghana is gonna get. So I was there for a couple of reasons. I'll make another video about that, about why I was there. But basically, I went during the dry season because I want to see exactly how hot it gets, because people keep saying, oh, it's hot, it's hot, it's hot. I want to see, well, how hot is hot really? So I went during the dry season. I went kind of mid-January. I believe I left January 17th and I was there until February 9th. So I was there during the dry season. So if you're there during the dry season, I wore jeans. Don't take jeans. Don't take jeans. Don't take jeans. I took jeans. I'm not a girly at home. I love my jeans. I really wish I would have bought some more abayas or some skirts or some flowy dresses or something, because you want the airflow. You want the airflow. So wear something loose and flowy. I took jeans. I took a couple of t-shirts. I took a couple of tank tops. I took 2 pair of sandals, my boots, like hiking boots or like combat boots, and I had my rain boots, and 1 pair of tennis shoes. So and then I took maybe like, so, and it also depends on how long you're gonna be there. So I was there for a month, so I took like 5 or 6 bras. I wish I would have taken more. I took like 10 pairs of underwear. I wish I would have taken more. I took like 5 pair of socks. I didn't really need those, except for sometimes at night it got kind of chilly. So it really just depends on how long you're gonna be there and where you're gonna be. So I was in Accra for a week. Accra is not as close to the water. It's but I had AC, so I stayed in, I think it's called like the containments, like near the embassy. So the weather's different. I had AC, it was a modern apartment, versus when I was in Elmina, I actually stayed on the ocean, but I was in a hut with no AC. So they had AC there, but I wanted to really, I guess, worst case scenario, like see what would it be like if I was in Ghana. So I didn't want to be comfortable, but I wanted to be comfortable. So in Elmina, they have your modern, at the resort I stayed in, they have the modern 2-bedroom or 1-bedroom with AC and all that stuff. And then they have the huts, which are still really beautiful, 1-bedroom, no AC, and they have the family one, also no AC. So, and I wanted to be as close to the water as I could, as close as the water as I could be. And what I learned is, because of the weather, the breeze is actually not when you're on the water. The breeze is actually when you're up high and you're kind of back. So I learned that. So it really depends on if you're going to be in northern Ghana. So the weather in northern Ghana, it's not as humid, it's more dry, versus where I was. So I was in like the central area. So Elmina, Cape Coast is considered the central region, and then Accra is more east. So it really just depends on where you're at. I also was in Takoradi. Takoradi was is more west. It felt cooler, but it could just be that day. So every day was different. Some days were more humid, some days were more breezy. It actually rained a day or two that I was there. So the humidity wasn't as high. So when people tell you it's hot in Ghana, so I'm in California, it's not like here hot, like burn your skin, get a sunburn hot. It's hot like thick, like the air is thick, it's humid, it's moist. So even though maybe you wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning or 8 or 9 at night, even though the sun is gone, you're still gonna sweat. So it's a different kind of hot. It's tolerable for me. My husband said it's worse than Louisiana. I've never been to Louisiana. I've been to Florida. He said he said it's like Louisiana. It's worse than Florida. So we actually have a video that we did together where we're talking about the different cities, comparing them to what we know here in the US and what it felt like and what it reminded us of. So I'll post that video. But he said it's worse than Florida. It reminds him of Louisiana. To me, it reminded me of Florida, but it wasn't. I didn't feel like it was as bad. And he said that's just because you're here in Ghana. You're appreciating it. So I digress. So yeah, I took, I would say just prepare for layers. There's a lot of mosquitoes, but I would say after being there for a week, either I got used to them or they started leaving me alone, because I had my the spray and the wipes for my face. And I would put it on my face and my arms and then spray my clothes. And they were getting me good. They were getting my ankles because I love sandals. I wore sandals for most of the time. I bought sandals at the art center. So I took sandals and then I bought sandals. I was in sandals for most of the time. Unless I knew we were walking, or I was going, into like where there's grassy, like the grasslands, then I would wear my combat boots. Or if I went hiking, because we did a little bit of hiking, then I wore my boots. But for the most part, I was in my sandals. So I would say wear a long flowy abaya, wear loose clothes, wear light colors, wear sandals or tennis shoes. And mosquitoes they're gonna get you. So some people have said they've gotten malaria while they were there, and they wait and they take their malaria pills after they've gotten malaria. So I bring this up because I'm talking about mosquitoes. I wasn't fearful of malaria, and I'm not really good with pills, and to be honest, I forgot to take them a lot of the days. I started taking them 2 or 3 days before I got on my flight, and then you take one every day while you're there, and then you're supposed to take them basically till the bottle's empty, like for 2 or 3 weeks once you're back. I still have pills in my bottle. Half the time I forgot to take them. I'm not a medicine person. That was not something that I could get used to, taking a pill every day. And I'm fine. So I don't know. People say it's not if you get malaria, it's when. I didn't get it this trip, alhamdulillah. I don't know. I guess I was taking them enough to not get it because the mosquitoes were getting me pretty good. But so yeah, and they will get you through your clothes. So like some evenings we would eat at night up on the patio, and I would wear a sweatshirt because it was cool enough to wear a sweatshirt. And actually I think once you're there for a little while, you get used to the humidity, because I started to wear my sweatshirt and the mosquitoes were still getting me. So I was like, you know what, forget it. So but yeah, I would just take long sleeve shirts, loose clothing. Don't take jeans. You're not going to really need any socks unless it's going to get cooler at nighttime, depending on where you're at, where you're sleeping. But I just basically would just try to dress comfortably. I took a hat, dress comfortable, dress light. I would say take 2 pair of sandals, or 1 pair of sandals, 1 pair of tennis shoes, maybe 1 pair of boots if you're going to go hiking or something like that. And I took a hat. So I took a hat, like a baseball cap. That wasn't enough. I ended up buying like a traditional Fulani hat because it just helps if you're out in the sun all day. So it's very different. So sometimes it's overcast. Most of the times the sun is not like out. But if you're walking along the beach, or you're going to be walking for a significant amount of time, having a hat is helpful. I also get heat rashes, so for me to have on my hijab like this was not helpful because I would get this heat rash all along my neck. So for the most time I was there, I had to wear my hijab up in a bun just because it was just hot and sweaty and my neck was not liking that. So I would put on my hijab in a bun, and then I would put my hat on so it was still covering my neck. So that was my solution. So a hat, loose clothes, sandals, tennis shoes, and that was basically it. I took an umbrella also. So depending on when you go, if it's dry season or wet season, you might want to take an umbrella. I have a like a travel umbrella, so it's a smaller umbrella that actually fit in my backpack. And then also, if you're interested in the things that I did and where I stayed, I have a guide on my Instagram. So if you guys are not following me over on Instagram, you can follow me on Instagram. It's Aisha LaDon. I have a guide, and it says Ghana, or like Akwaba, welcome, like the stuff I did in Ghana, and it has the places I stayed, the places that I ate, the places that I visited, all the different things you can do there. So that's on my Instagram account. But I'm trying to think if I'm forgetting something. So I have my 2 carry-ons and then my 1 under luggage. So the thing you have to be careful is, sure, I thought that I was doing good and I was packing light by taking 1 big bag for my luggage. My bag was overweight. So I think also because I had my laptop and some other things in my backpack. They don't weigh those, but oh, I also took a jacket. So I took a jacket and my boots and my umbrella just in case, because I knew it was going to be raining, but also because it was snowing in Istanbul. So I had some extra things like that in my check-in bag, which caused it to be overweight. So I think it's like 23 kilos or something is the max weight. So she let it slide because it wasn't too far over. I think it was like 28 or something, and because I only had the 1 instead of 2, she let it go ahead and slide. But coming back, so as I mentioned, I've been doing art curation, and one of the things that I'm doing while I'm traveling is getting to know the artists, building relationships with those artists, and helping them to put their things online in the shop. So I brought back paintings, I brought back clothes, I brought back cloth, I brought back so much stuff. So I actually bought a luggage. We were at the mall in Accra. I think it's called what is that store called? Game. So Game is kind of like Walmart. So we went there, or maybe it was in Takoradi. I think it was in Accra that I went to Game. Maybe not. Maybe it was in Cape Coast. So I went to, I believe, I don't know. I think it was in Takoradi. So I think it was in the mall in Takoradi. We went to a store called Game, and I actually bought a luggage just to put stuff in that I was bringing back, and I was still over. So I ended up paying like $200 in overages in my weight because all of our bags were full and overweight when we came back. So yeah, I packed light going, but not coming back because I knew I was gonna be bringing stuff back. And I took this bag. It's so funny, like my husband's military sea bag. I have a bag like that. I was like, oh yeah, I'll just put my art stuff in there. It wouldn't have fit because I bought like handbags for my sister-in-law, clothes for my mom, sandals for my mom, clothes for the kids. Everybody got gifts, and then on top of that, I brought back artwork and things that we're gonna sell in the shop, jewelry. So like, I had a lot of luggage overages coming back. So one of the things that I've learned is that I need to make a DHL account. So in Ghana, DHL is a big thing. So that's pretty much what I packed. I'm gonna create other videos because as I'm thinking, like so much other stuff comes to mind, but I don't want to make this video like really long. So that's it, guys. Life is good. Have a blessed day.